Just talk about
Hi. You know what's funny is whenever there's a microphone, I tend to talk louder in front of the microphone, which is the opposite you're supposed to do.
Well,
I
you
wake
have a
everybody
background
up.
in radio, right? So some of that must be a little bit instinctive.
Yeah, you know, it was, and then I feel like I've gotten, I don't know, I feel like forgot everything. I feel like I knew how to be very concise on the radio. I just figured, you know, I was kind of thrown in the deep end on the radio, and like my audition was just being the sidekick on the show, and I had no idea what I was doing. But I feel like then, much younger, when I was very green, I was able to just instinctively be very concise and not scream. And now I just never end a sentence. If any of you have met me, hi, good to see you. Most of the fans I meet, especially here, are you guys. You Canadians are lovely, and you're very, very nice. But you know that you talk too much when your fans are like, okay, okay, all right, thank you. And I'm like, oh my God, and then this one time, and they're like, we have a photo op we have to go to. I'm like, oh my God, okay, sorry, I'm still talking, you know? So I feel like on the radio, I was much more concise, and now I need dialogue written for me to end a sentence. That's just a fact. Okay, that's my time.
Okay, just making sure you were
concise
done.
now. I'm never gonna be done.
I
I
love
just
that.
said that.
I
No,
love that.
you love that right now because
I
you
do.
only have me for 30 minutes.
And I'm still out of breath
Ask
from the
people who have to
stairs.
put up with me every day. As my mom said to me once, she's like, you know, you learned to talk when you were 9 months old, which I guess is fairly young. I don't know if that's normal, whatever. But she said you learned to talk very quickly, and you spoke very fast from a very young age. And she said, and you never shut up, which was adorable when you were 2. But, and then she just looked at me. I'm like, but what, Mom? But what? She's like, it was adorable when you were 2. And I'm like, all right, because I'm not 2. It's not adorable. Okay.
Still pretty adorable now. What do you think, guys?
Oh, don't, thanks. Just 2 people.
They weren't sure if you were finished. Welcome to Niagara Falls.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back here. I was here when I was 12 years old. I grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, which is like northeast Ohio.
So it was your honeymoon.
Yes, it was my honeymoon. Yes.
Really? No.
And I was 12, and it was our very first trip where at least for me, where my parents weren't there because it was a school trip. We took a bus and came for the weekend, and it was like 4 kids to a room, and our teachers were our chaperones, which was also crazy when you see a teacher outside of the classroom. You know what I mean? It was like our heads exploded. Anyway, they were in like sweatpants and jeans. And it was like, what is happening? But so Niagara Falls holds a very special place in my heart because, you know, your formative years, like you were 12. That was the same year I saw The Exorcist, so that always will stay with me as well. But I mean, like, the going to Niagara Falls without your parents and whatever, and going and experiencing it was like, this holds just like a special place. I felt like you know, when you're a kid and you like think you're like an adult, you feel like an adult, which you're not. But I just remember, and it was raining that day, and we were in the ponchos going on the boat, just soaked for like the rest of the day. We loved every second of it, you know? And then got to go to the Science Museum, and I got some freeze-dried NASA ice cream, and I remember that weirdly. Can't remember where I am half the time, but yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, so I'm very happy to be back here, and it's really beautiful, and the people here are lovely, and I haven't got my Tim Hortons yet, but I plan on it.
Americans think it's good. They think we like it.
It's because it's not
good.
Starbucks, so it's like, oh my gosh,
Starbucks
I don't know. I
is
love
a treat to us.
Really.
It's like
Tim Hortons, a double. It was a treat for me. I'm very excited.
Tim Hortons is like our Dunkin' Donuts.
Which is why, and I like American Dunkin' Donuts, which is probably why I like Tim Hortons. But also, I just like saying double, and I really like the way it tasted.
What do you call it down south?
I have no idea.
Oh.
A grande? I don't know.
Two of each.
A a grande with 2 shots. I don't know, I just like Tim Hortons, double. Bam.
It's a double.
It's fun.
And here you are at a horror convention. Have you done a lot of horror conventions?
Have I done a lot?
Because I know Ash vs. Evil Dead is part of your career. You've done a lot of things, but it's the horror thing, and it's why you're here.
Thank you. I have done a few horror cons. I'm trying to catalog like which ones were horror cons, but I know specifically I really love doing the horror cons because no BS, the horror community is the most passionate, incredible, loving, generous group of people. And I say that also because it's just an observation. But even, again, I'm like talking about my parents, but my parents were very tough critics and they don't know this world at all. And like, I'm just really proud and happy that, they both got to see what a con was. And like my dad went to a con in Chicago when he was there for business and was like shaking hands with the fans, like, thanks for being a fan of my daughter. She's a pain in my ass, but I'm glad you like her. And like people wanted pictures with my dad and then he was all shy. My mom sat at the table and cried. Like anyone who's come up to my table and you just talked to me and said you liked something about the show or how was it like to work with Bruce Campbell, and she would just cry. And it was uncomfortable. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? She's like, I just can't believe a show about a guy with a chainsaw arm brings all these people together. And I'm like, oh my God, Mom, don't say that to anybody but me. But I thought about it. And my mom has since passed, but she was right. And I feel like she was actually right. I see why she was moved. It's why I moved with you guys. Like you guys, a lot of you, when people meet me, they say you have a lot of energy. It's because I'm feeding off of you guys. Because the horror community specifically, out of any franchise, I would rival you against any Marvel, DC, Star Wars, all the things. I feel like you guys are the most passionate. You're the reason the show that was my dream job got made, because any of you who are fans of Sam and Bruce and the franchise, they said themselves that no matter what else they did, Sam did Spider-Man and Bruce did other TV shows. And no matter, I'm going to just hold this because I feel like I'm hunching over. No matter anything else they did, and they would go do like Comic-Cons or panels and talk about it, and all the fans would say for 30 years, when's the next Evil Dead? When's the next Evil Dead? And Bruce was like, and you guys wouldn't shut up about it. So now finally we made this TV show. And so I like to thank you guys, because that's what I'm saying, that the horror community makes things happen. And then everything we do is then for you, because I wouldn't have had this experience if it wasn't for you guys. And so, and you keep it alive for me, and you've enriched my life in so many ways. And I don't know. I don't sound cool like my character. I sound like such a nerd, but it's true.
You sound pretty cool.
I'm not cool. There's the veil. Sorry.
To your point, and to your credit, horror fans don't always get what we ask for, first of all.
True.
Or sometimes when we do, we wish we never asked for it. Exorcist. So, kudos to that. Kudos to bringing a strong female lead to the entire Evil Dead franchise.
Yes.
I was just talking with Betsy and
I love them. I heard I just saw them on the way back.
Yeah, and they were like, they put us through the ringer. They put those girls through hell.
Oh, when those guys were 20, yeah. I mean, Sam's brother, Ted, who's one of my very dear friends, almost died legitimately, like in that Henrietta costume. And because they didn't know. They were 20 years old, they didn't know. And it's like, but those girls went through a lot. That chainsaw, when they were getting really close to their face, had actual blades on it.
No. I
swear, if they didn't tell me that, Ted did. And I was like, oh my God. But they were like, we got to shoot it, That's what you do, but nobody died. But
nope.
Yeah, they got put.
Great film.
Great, the best film. But I'm sorry, I cut you off, as I tend to do, because I never stop talking. But you were saying that they were talking about how they were put through the ringer.
I think
for sure.
They crawled so Kelly could run.
I 100% agree, and I've so much as said that to them.
I think Ash needed a counterpart who's going to call him out on his shit.
And that's what Sam and Bruce had said, is like, look, this character existed in a different time, but also there are just people who are just there are good things about him. There are bad things about him. And Ash, is really good at kicking evil's ass, but he's also kind of a misogynistic racist sometimes. And in order for him to still be who he is, you had to have Pablo and Kelly call him out on his shit. And you had to. And that's how he was allowed to still, because it's very true to life, right? We all have that family member where you're like, oh my God, just shut up, please.
Boomer uncle.
Please. But, they had to have somebody be the voice of reason with him so that he could still be Ash Williams, set in his ways at 60 years old, 30 years later, And I'm just glad that you guys embraced us, because I was worried. I was a fan of the franchise, and I was worried because it's a lone wolf. And I read some of the things early, right after we got cast. They're like, well, we don't want sidekicks. We've been waiting 30 years for that. And I'm like, oh my God. I told Ray, I'm like, they're going to hate us. I'm going to die. I'm going to get killed off in the second episode. It's fine. I'm just going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy going there for the first episode. But you guys really, again, this is why I love the horror community, is like, you might be fierce critics, but it's fair. And when you guys love something, you embrace it. And I just am so grateful that Sam Raimi knew what he was doing, and you guys enjoyed it in kind. It made me, I'm just so happy.
It delivered the groceries. I think it was everything that we as fans wanted, and then some. But going back to what you said about worrying about being killed off, can we talk spoilers in here? Are you guys, everyone's
too late? I don't,
right?
yeah, who guys, it's been canceled for like
panel,
10 years
You've watched
now.
the damn show.
No, but I have met some fans who are couples, and like, the boyfriend has seen it, and the girlfriend's still only on season 1, which I'm actually, a lot of people in line were saying like they were jealous because they can't see it for the first time. Like, they're jealous that she still had, you know what I mean? Like, you can't erase your memory and like see it for the first time, but she still hasn't seen it. So it's almost like exciting.
Yeah. Oh,
but regardless, spoiler too bad. You should have seen it. Go watch it real quick.
Well, let's talk about.
I just get lipstick all over my face because I'm eating the microphone. Like I said, do I look like a crazy?
You're
Okay,
good.
well,
Either
way it works.
Kelly sort of died.
Oh, right.
But you got to stick around.
Yeah. I got to be honest. I was mad about it.
Were you?
Yeah. I was the only one who never got to be a Deadite. I really, really wanted to be a Deadite. And I felt like...
Just because you thought it would be fun, or you saw the contacts and you were like, me?
No, it's awful. It's awful. The Deadites do not get enough credit.
Really?
It's I shouldn't say awful, but what I mean is, guys, they have to... I thought I had to get in early for hair and makeup. They have to get there at 2 a.m. It takes 4 to 6 hours to put all that on. The contacts are scleras. They're blind. They cannot see when they have them in, and they're your whole eyeball. You have to it hurts, right? And then it takes they've been working a 10-hour day, and then it takes 4 hours to slowly, with alcohol, peel off the glue honestly, all the credit to the Deadites. And they are, I gotta say this, I do have to say this, my very first Deadite. So Deadite Mrs. Johnson, which was the pilot, right? Who was a very sweet New Zealand lady. Because when you think Michigan, which is where the show takes place, you think New Zealand. I definitely won on that end of the stick. I was very happy that Rob Tapert was married to Lucy Lawless, who is a Kiwi, because they live in New Zealand, and that's where we shot. It's amazing. But anyway, so this lovely woman who played Deadite Mrs. Johnson, who talked like this, and her voice she was just so sweet. But I'd never seen what she looked like. I don't think, maybe the table read, but I hadn't seen remembered what she really, really looked like. So she's it's like first week, she's in her. Once you're in the makeup, like I said, you can't take it off. And they're leading her around because she's blind. And it really is a hard process to take those contacts in and out because it's your whole eyeball and it hurts. So a lot of them just leave them in, but someone has to walk you around. And so I will never forget this. It was like, I'm excited. It's like first day of school when you feel like you're meeting a bunch of new people. You think it's going to be cool, but you also are a little scared. But anyway, and then I see her, or I sit down with Ray, and we're eating, and she sits down across from us. I could not eat. I was just looking at her and I'm like, and I wasn't eating it. She's talking to me, but she's full on deadite. And I'm like, I am so sorry. I don't want to be rude, but I cannot eat in front of you. You look so terrifying and your voice is just naturally terrifying. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. I just mean it as a compliment. And then I just dug a hole for myself. Regardless, they are way more terrifying in person. I truly.
Okay.
Mimi Rogers was sick as a dog and did that. I didn't have to do any acting when there was a deadite. So I really wanted to be one. That's what I mean.
That's why?
That's because
so
I think it's always fun being my lifelong dream, because I saw The Exorcist when I was 12 and it blew my mind that my parents said, hey, because I wanted to be an actor, and they said, hey, do you know that Linda Blair was your age when she filmed this? And I could not wrap my mind around it. And then they told me what happened to her and how awful people were. And I couldn't understand as a 12-year-old brain, like, she got punished for being too good of an actor. It just always, I don't know why. That's how I still think of it. And so in some like hold a candle for Linda Blair way, I am Italian Catholic, but I always wanted to play possessed. So when I got to do that, it was the hardest day, one of two of the hardest, most challenging days, but it was the most rewarding because it was a lifelong dream. So yeah, I wanted to be a deadite because I just think they're so fun to play, you know? And I kind of was going to be honored if like Ash Williams got to decapitate me. I don't know. Yeah. But I came back. But I feel like, because, Kelly wanted to go down swinging. I feel like they should have, because they already brought Pablo back, you know what I mean? So I feel if I had it as Kelly's brain, I would have had the choice. I'd have been like, you know what? Make a statement. Just die. Don't come back. Be the one that doesn't come back. Yeah. I don't know. But I also was hoping there was another season, so I was glad. But then there wasn't another season anyway, so now I really wish I had died. But it was, I loved every bit of it. And so I trust the writers and what they were doing.
What was the other hardest day?
Little diva, shithead, ashy slashy puppet. Yeah, clap till he bites your crotch off. That's all fine. No, I did love that puppet. No, but I had to, I didn't know I was going to be puppeteering while it was on my hand. And I'm not a puppeteer. And I have to, why it was challenging, because I'm not a puppeteer, and it's literally like, you have 5 minutes, learn, go. And the voice was just somebody in the room. So it was already difficult trying to do the mouth to someone else saying the lines, because you don't know how they're gonna, I don't know. That was tricky, but also what's really hard, I wanna give credit to any puppeteer you ever meet. You should shake their hand and be like, wow. I don't even care if they're a bad puppeteer, that's still really hard, because what was really challenging, so we have a whole conversation, like, check out the potty mouth on you. Yeah, and like we talk, and it was hard to make your hand say something, but your face not reflect what the hand is verbalizing. So when he was all like, da 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 da, my face would start to be like, and then I had to be like, oh wait, no, I'm Kelly. So then I had to be like, like it was, or when he walks away, it's just interesting because your brain wants to do the emotion of your hand, but your face has to do a different emotion because at least in that scene I had to, And so I already loved puppets, guys. I did already love puppets. So those 2 days, the Exorcist and the puppeteering, because also what was hard is, I don't know if you guys have heard the expression, it was the one piece of advice Bruce gave me and Ray before we started, which was hit your mark, which sounds easy, but like when they take the tape away, you have to kind of memorize exactly like something on the wall, because otherwise you're out of focus if you're this far off. And he just said, hit your mark. So I was always paranoid about that. You know who didn't hit his mark? Ashy Slashy, when he was on my hand, where like when I put him in, I just remember that bedpost moment. Oh my God, the bedpost. And I was like, no one cared. It's a puppet. Like he's being a jerk. It was me doing it, but I had to ram him into this bedpost. But you can't be like this hot. You literally got to be within a millimeter of it. And so but I was fighting and doing something before that. So anyway, that was why it was hard. It's just the technicality. But you know what's funny is like truly those 2 hardest days are the ones I look back at and be like, man, that was awesome.
That's so good.
I feel like I have been talking for 2 days. I feel like I have aged a decade since I've been here. Anybody else? Guys, oh yeah, shut up, Ken. That's my manager.
Yeah, telling us.
Ken,
that
I know you've had to deal with me all weekend.
Unfortunately, I think.
I think everyone's going to say fortunately. They're going to be like, this is the greatest. It's about to be recess, guys.
Does anyone have a hot, steamy, burning question? Like you didn't Google it. You can only get it asking.
We don't. I mean, they don't put that pressure.
Steamy
it can be a
and
terrible
burning.
question. I ask terrible questions.
White hot, controversial. No,
I really like your glasses.
Oh, thank you.
And I like your nails.
I like your outfit.
And I just want to say, because I will forget, that you're a great moderator. No, really.
When we were outside, you identified yourself as a geek, nerd.
Did I?
Yes.
I don't know. I told you. I don't remember what happened 5 minutes ago, but I
wanted to hear
remember
more
Niagara
about
Falls and the astronaut freeze-dried ice cream. Well, did I? Oh, right. Oh, I know what. Yes. I was and I am, but what I mean by that is like I had very strict parents, but I always followed the rules. Ray, his expression is he would do things that like broke all the rules. Like he would steal. We would never get the scripts for the next episode. Like if it was a Thursday, we wouldn't do the table read till that Thursday, and we start shooting that episode on Monday. But we never knew if we were going to be killed off. So you always kind of dread it, and we would do it over lunch at the table read, and Ray would somehow always get a copy of it, like find a way. And then he would come up to me and be like, I know what happens to you in the next episode. And then run away. And I was like, what? And he was like, you'll see. I'm like, so when I found out he was stealing these scripts or getting them, he's like, girl, I'm from the Bronx. And I was like, okay. And he goes, I ask for forgiveness, not permission. And I was like, I ask for permission. And like, what an idiot I am.
I'm Italian too.
Okay.
Good girl, paisan.
My younger brother, who's a boy in an Italian family, he said the same thing. He's like, dude, you were the only person in our family, and it's just us two as the kids. And he's like, he's like, you still follow the curfew in your you're in your 30s. Why did you? And I was like, cause I'm not a jerk. But yet he's the favorite. So what do I know? No, I'm just kidding. But like, yeah, you get it. Italian. It's so
totally
but also nerd. I was
too,
like
right?
straight A. I didn't ever like drink in college. I was babysitting and in the library getting straight A's. In hindsight, don't start drinking in your 30s because you're supposed to start drinking in your college days because then you can have a burger in the morning and bounce back for a hangover. Now I have 2 glasses of wine. I'm like, I have COVID. I'm dead. It's the bubonic plague. I can't make it. And it's 2 glasses of wine. I'm like, oh, this is why. Okay, yeah. Or just don't drink ever. That's probably a better advice.
Yes.
Or I should have just stuck with weed like Ash Williams and his Maui Wowie.
It's legal here, by the way.
Welcome. Great. I feel like, because I live in California, I feel like.
Oh, okay.
But hey,
No big deal.
that's why I see so many. Oh, that's interesting.
Goes
But
nice
you
with
guys
Tim
still
Hortons.
measure your alcohol, which is amazing to me. It's like a rule here.
Yeah.
I was a bartender for a long time.
Okay.
And fun fact, alcohol in the Queenslands of Canada, Australia, New Zealand is 1.8 milliliters is a measurement.
Mm-hmm.
In America, as bartenders, we're like, you want a vodka soda? Okay. And so that's why. It's great, though, because that's why I'm not hungover, because you can have 2 drinks, 3 drinks, and be like, I feel great. I feel great. It's good. You guys are smart. Stick
Does
with the
explain
legal
a thing or
weed.
two. Yeah.
Guys, this is why I'm a nerd, because I talk about milliliters as a bartender. What is my problem?
Okay, I've got one more
She's like,
question.
we're
no,
done.
you've got to get out of here. I could talk to you forever, but I'm getting the eye. interviewing Betsy and Teresa.
Oh, God, I love them so much.
they
Did they
were-
do the laugh? Did she do the laugh?
No.
Good.
But
Good. It's the worst and most terrifying thing. But
they
go ahead.
imitated Sam's voice a lot.
Oh, did they?
And it was great. So I want to ask you one last question, and I want you to answer it as Sam.
Oh, great. I love
Can you do it?
Yeah, of course.
Kelly Maxwell spinoff when?
Well, Dana, I just want to say it's good to see you. I have not seen you since 2016, but I'm a very, very busy man. And as much as I would love the Kelly spinoff, I work for Disney and Brucey and I just produced a movie. And look, hey, let me get back to you on when we're going to do Kelly. But I really enjoy you, and I hope you're doing well. And I would really very much like to see you, and I think you have a very great and loyal fan base, thanks to me. And
No, he would never say that. He would never say that. That was me. He's the most humble person. He is. I just was trying to find a funny out. No,
was great.
he is the most. I was told people this. He's the least and most intimidating person in the room. And I will end with this with Sam Raimi. I love that man. If you've had the pleasure of meeting him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Least and most intimidating person in the room is the best way I can say it, because first time I ever talked to him, and every time I talk to him, as some of you have told me as well, when he talks to you, there's no one else. And not because of you're like, whoa, he makes you. It's like a Sam Raimi effect. He puts you at ease to the point where you're talking to him for 2 minutes in, and all of a sudden, it's like Sam, the butcher at the grocery store that gives you the pound of meat every week, because he's so just like familiar and makes you feel like no one else is there. And then you walk away, or he walks away, and you're like, holy shit, that was Sam Raimi. And it's just, that's what I mean by the least and most, is that he is wonderfully humble. The most humble. Every time you say anything to him, it's like the first compliment he's ever heard is how but he means like that. I love that man. You should support everything he does. He is all of the things and more. And, but Sam Raimi, if you're listening, I would really love a spinoff. Thanks.
We all would. Thank you. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you. You were incredible.
You were incredible.
Let's do a traveling show together.